Greetings and salutations, Scribblers. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I hope that you have sunshine wherever you are. It is very dreary here as I record this, so please enjoy that vitamin D for me. For today's video, we are going to be discussing creative burnout and focusing on recognizing some subtle signs that it might be on the horizon so you can be proactive and stop it in its tracks. So, before I go any further, quick note, I am not a medical professional. I do not even play one on TV, and I cannot diagnose anything. I am merely inviting a conversation about burnout in hopes that it helps other people seek the assistance they need rather than being derailed from your writing goals. So, burnout is defined as a syndrome conceptualized as resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. That is from the World Health Organization, all right? So what does that mean for creatives? Because that was a very non-creative way to say anything, right? It means that all of the stressors that come with the creative process start to add up and can eventually shut down our ability to be creative, right? Creative burnout can be characterized by a range of things, but often includes the inability to come up with ideas, finding excuses to not write, being irritable, loss of interest or passion, and of course, my personal favorite, myriad other health issues that can be instigated or exacerbated by burnout. In today's culture, especially in America, there's this idea that we have to constantly be creating in order to stay relevant and sell books, which can increase the chances of creative burnout. Not to mention that for many writers, creativity is tied to their income. So without it, they won't be able to afford things like rent or groceries. And that pressure builds up and then exhausts our minds and bodies, and that can result in burnout. Creative burnout can also come from within. It can be a sense of not being able to get anything perfect enough and constantly comparing ourselves with other writers, despite each of us having our own unique circumstances and paths to follow. And this can lead to us freezing up when we need to be creative. So if you feel as though you're never going to measure up, stop and consider why you feel like that, right? Is it because of outside messages that you're receiving, or is it a sign that you're on the path to creative burnout? Taking the time to reflect on and identify the why behind the feelings that we have is a really great step to take in order to better understand our creative process and to help prevent things like creative burnout. So you really want to go in and examine, like, why do I feel like I'm not going to measure up? And is it just because other people are saying this because they're trying to gaslight you into thinking that? Or is this coming more from the inside of you not feeling that way? And then why do you feel that way? Why is it that you feel that your creativity is not fabulous enough? Because I'm going to tell you, it is. Another possible sign that creative burnout is creeping up is finding reasons to avoid actually sitting down and writing. When you have time to write, do you intentionally come up with other things to do? If you're intentionally pushing it aside, that's your brain saying, I'm overwhelmed. Can we take a break? And again, we've been trained to override our brains and push through mental and emotional stress and negativity, and that is not a great way to live. So your question here is really just to dig in and ask yourself, why are you avoiding your writing? Did you just realize you were supposed to pick up cookies for your kid's picnic tomorrow, and so you need to go to the store instead of writing? Or is your time entirely free for you to do what you want, and you just can't bring yourself to sit down and do it? You have to be honest with yourself in these questions, right? Because if you don't have that honesty with yourself, you're not going to be able to figure out what it is that's stopping you and your creativity. And you have to get those reasons behind why you're avoiding your work. These things are always layered and nuanced, and they're all going to shift based on the variables in your specific life. And each person's creative burnout will always be its own journey, right? And it could be, I gave those two examples, like, is it because you need to pick up cookies or just because you just don't want to do it? And it could be a combination. You're like, oh, thank God I have to go get those cookies. Like that's perfect, because now it seems like it's an outside reason instead of it only being an internal reason. So layered, nuanced, you never know what it's going to be. A final sign that creative burnout may be on the horizon is that your creative well is dry. And you may have heard other writers talking about needing to refill their well. What this means is that you're actively consuming other people's creative endeavors. You're reading books, poems, you're looking at art, you're crocheting, you're watching TV shows, movies, you're taking pottery classes, whatever that looks like for you. Our brains need input if we want them to do cool things like make up stories and characters and worlds. And if we don't put anything good in, we won't get anything good out. So this could mean rewatching something tried and true. For me, it's The Magicians. If I start to feel uninspired, I start a rewatch, and I usually rewatch that show 2 to 3 times a year. Just because I know that I need that. I need to feed on on that creativity and that storyline and those characters in order to come up with some of my own things, right? Or I'll reread one of my favorite books. I love rereading either Daughter of Smoke and Bone or Jade City. Both of those books inspire me and they refill my well. Like they're just so amazing and they make me remember all those things that I love about creativity. But more than that, enjoying non-writing activities and non-writing creativity also has a huge impact as well, especially like depending on who you are, right? A couple years ago, I was feeling very uninspired and I took a pottery class. It was, I don't know, 6 or 7 weeks, but it was amazing. And I had so much fun being creative, learning about this new creative thing and putting that input into my brain and learning a different creative process. It's inspired me with my writing and it got me back on track. And that was really, really important for me. So even though it had nothing to do with writing, it was creativity and I was getting to do something and my body and my brain were just like, yes, this is so cool. So if you feel like you just can't come up with any fun, creative ideas, this might be your sign to refill that well. A lot of writers will even schedule this into their process. For me, when I finish a draft or a major revision pass of a manuscript, I will take 2 weeks to a month off from writing. I'll still dabble a little bit, write down a scene if it comes to me, or start thinking about what I might want to do next. But I spend that time getting caught up on TV, music, reading, and any other creative pursuit that I might have. I do keep trying to crochet and I'm just really bad at counting. I was not forewarned about the amount of math that goes into crochet. So I'm always really bad at it. But every now and then I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, and I try again and I still fail miserably because I can't count. I don't know how you guys do it. I am always amazed by anybody who can do crochet. And I've had like 3 different people try to teach me and every time it just never goes well. But anyways, I do that. So that helps me. And even though I do really badly at it, I keep trying it. So if you're feeling as though you don't have any ideas to pull from, stop and think about when the last time was that you just consumed other people's creative endeavors. What is going to spark your interest and ignite that flame of creativity in your heart? Then go read, watch, or do the thing. Creative burnout can feel like a monster lurking behind your computer screen. But if you keep tabs on your feelings and reflect on why you're thinking or feeling that way, you can try to head it off at the pass. Of course, seek the help of a medical professional or therapist to go more in depth with any of these ideas. And remember that you aren't alone. You really need to make protecting your creativity a priority because someone out there's a reader who needs your book and your voice and your thoughts. So it's really, I think it's just important that all of us, even if there's like you have no plans on ever sharing some of your works, I think it's still important to protect your creativity because it is a precious gift and you're the only one who can tell your story in that specific way. So you need to look out for yourself. All right, Scribblers, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you have any tips for recognizing burnout before it takes over completely, please drop those in the comments below. We'd love to read them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Happy writing, Scribblers.